Hey, Joy creators, welcome back to Create a Magical Day. If you're a busy woman who loves self help and self care, but sometimes struggles to keep up with routines, you're in the right place. I see you, my friend. You're juggling work, family, relationships, and your big dreams. And somewhere in between, you're trying to make time for who? Yourself. I get it because I was there too. I used to believe that setting goals would bring me happiness, but I realized that joy isn't just something we check off a list, it's something we have to build into our lives. And that's where systems come in. Instead of chasing goals and feeling frustrated when I couldn't stay consistent, I created system settings that made joy, self care, and my mother's favorite word, alignment, a natural part of my day. And let me tell you, this one shift changed everything. In today's episode, I'm sharing how I moved from just setting goals to creating systems that actually support my joy so that self care doesn't feel like another task but something that naturally fits into my day. Here's what we're diving into: how system settings help build healthy habits that actually stick, how I structure my day for joy, ease, and flow without burnout, the exact tools I use, including the Joy Map, iPhone reminders, and so much more, and how to stay aligned with joy through weekly and monthly check ins. Today, we're sprinkling joy into your day. Welcome to the Create a Magical Day podcast. Hey, my friends, Joyful Jania. You know, I love starting the podcast off with some joy. So before we dive into creating systems, I want to share with you, oh my gosh, I just got back from Rio and had the most beautiful time. It was a mad getaway, as my mother likes to call them, which stands for mother and daughter. We've been traveling together since around 2019. And every year we take a beautiful trip together somewhere we've never been before. And this year we chose Rio. It was gorgeous, gorgeous. When we would sleep, we would hear the ocean waves. You know, we slept with the door open. We went on a beautiful hike. Oh my gosh, my legs were hurting afterwards, but it was so beautiful just being one with nature. And we also took a cooking class that was so much fun. And let me tell you, we did a great job. And the other beautiful part of taking that trip is just really taking time to be mindful and present. I talk a lot about being mindful with the things that we're doing. And that is something that I was able to just stop and embrace and use my five senses to really identify the grace, the gratitude, the beauty that was in front of me. So I just wanted to share that. If you have the opportunity to take a trip, do it. Take the time for yourself. If you don't, I still want you to think about what's something that you could do for yourself that fills your cup, because I am all about us filling our cups, even with our busy lives and all of our goal settings. All right. So, are you ready? Are you ready to dive into learning about how creating systems, not just goals, changed my life? So, if you are, let's start designing a life that supports your happiness. Let's get into it. So, let's talk about what are system settings. Have you ever set a goal, maybe to be more mindful, exercise regularly, or even feel more joy, but found yourself struggling to stay consistent? Yeah, that's me too, sometimes. But let me tell you what's been so helpful. It's not about willpower or motivation. Yes, we need some of that, right? But it's about systems, because systems make success automatic. It really helps with that. So, what does that mean to create a system setting for your life? Think of system settings like the way you customize your phone. You adjust notifications, set alarms, or use focus modes to create a setup that works for you, right? Now imagine doing that for your life. A system is simply a routine or a habit that supports your goals. So you don't have to rely on just motivation. I'll give you an example: mindfulness as a system. Okay, so let's take mindfulness. Instead of saying, I want to be more mindful, you create a system where mindfulness naturally fits into your day. So let's look at option one, the goal only approach. You wake up and think, I should meditate today. But then the day gets busy and it just doesn't happen, right? So let's look at option two, the system settings approach. Now imagine if every morning, before even checking your phone, that we love to do, you have a journal next to your bed and you start the day by writing one thing you're grateful for. No decision making, no mental negotiation, just a system that makes mindfulness automatic. Do you see the difference? So instead of hoping to be more mindful, you've built a system where mindfulness is a natural part of your routine. Now, I want to talk about why systems work. Consistency over just motivation. So, systems over motivation work because motivation can be fleeting sometimes. Like some days you feel inspired, other days life gets busy, and honestly, that motivation disappears. But consistency beats motivation every time. When you have a system in place, you don't need to feel in the mood to do something. It just happens, like brushing your teeth or making coffee in the morning. Your systems help to create your habits, and then your habits create your results. So, I have a question for you. What's one area in your life where you can set up a system instead of just relying on motivation? If you're ready to start designing your own joy filled systems, keep watching because I'm going to show you exactly how I create mine. I want to tell you about my morning system, how I start my day to feel joyful and grounded. My mornings set the tone for my joyful days. You know, those mornings, you hit the snooze button, check your phone first, and then suddenly the day feels like it's running you instead of the other way around. I didn't like that feeling at all. And then I realized how I start my day determines how I feel throughout it. And if I want more joy, clarity, ease, I had to create a system that actually supported that. So that's what I did. And let me tell you, this one habit changed everything for me. I'm going to break down the exact morning system I use to start my day with joy and intention so you can create one that works for you. Oh, okay. So, my morning, it's just not a routine, even though I do talk about morning, routines. It is a system, one that keeps me feeling grounded, focused, and full of joy a lot of days. I won't say every single day, but many days. And it's simple. It has four key components that I follow most mornings. And it's simple. It has four key components that I follow most mornings. No overcomplicated rituals, no unrealistic time blocks, just a system that helps me start my day on my terms. So, one is, your girl is all about mindfulness and gratitude. So, I first start the morning just journaling a little bit or thinking about what I'm grateful for, before I do anything else, before I check my phone, before my mind starts racing, which our minds do when we first wake up. I journal or I'll just sit in silence and I think, um, instead of what I have to do today, this is where I really get present, like checking in on myself before the world gets so busy. I like to use my Create a Magical Day journal to write down what I'm grateful for, reflect from the day before, having those little moments of joy. I love imagining and writing in there. It just helps start the day with appreciation instead of just stress. And if 30 minutes, because that's what I like to do sometimes, if that feels like a lot, start small. Just one sentence of gratitude can shift your mindset. So that's one, starting in gratitude, a little bit of journaling. Now, my second is how I connect to how I want to feel. I talk a lot about that because I feel that when we connect with how we want to feel, we are able to set the tone for our day and see the things that help us feel the way we want to feel. So, this is how I like to connect. I set an intention after journaling, after giving my gratitude reflection. I take a moment to ask myself, Jania, how do I want to feel today? Not what do I want to do, but who do I want to be in this day? Because I mean, honestly, life, we be lifing out here, right? It's gonna happen. But if I set my intention early, I can move through the day with purpose, not just react to whatever comes my way. Yes, sometimes I react, right? But then what I could do is say, am I aligning with my intention? Is this bringing me closer to that? Or is it not? And then I can say, what's going to get me back aligned with my intention? Sometimes my intention is simple. I just might choose ease or I am present. I could say, I am impactful. It's just a small way to remind myself that I get to shape my energy for the day. And let me tell you, it's so helpful, especially when I get off track. All right. So, number three is joyful movement. I talk a lot about dancing in the morning. So, I'll dance, I'll stretch, maybe I'll walk. I have this new shaker. I like to do that too. But the biggest thing is, I like to move my body. But here's the one thing, I don't force it. Some mornings I do a full workout. Okay. Other days it's a little stretching, a walk, and my favorite, my dance break in the loft upstairs. Because movement, it isn't just about exercise, it's about shifting your energy. And dancing, that's just my personal joy booster. My midday dance parties. So, my friend, find what feels good for you, whether it's yoga, stretching, walking outside, just move in a way that makes you feel alive. Ah, yes. Okay, four, we're going to talk about these tech tools, right? Because we all know we reach for our phones at some point in the morning. But instead of just scrolling, I use my iPhone as a joy tool. And here's how I set reminders to check in with myself throughout the day. Simple things like take a deep breath, or pause and enjoy the moment, or dance a little bit. I use the Notes app to write down small wins or joyful moments I want to remember later. I'm doing something cool from this challenge that I took earlier this year, and they're called driftwoods. So I have been using my Notes app to collect driftwoods, and driftwoods are those things that are going on around you that help you know that you are headed in the right direction. That's something that I just started incorporating this year, and it feels so good. And I'll go back and I'll reflect on those. And this is something I find very helpful is I set my phone on focus mode in the morning so I don't get distracted before I've had time for me, you know? All right, so those are the four system settings I use every morning to start my day with joy and intention. Number one, I start with my reflection on mindfulness and gratitude, a little bit of journaling. I set my intention for how I want to feel. Then I have a little joyful movement to shift my energy. And I use my tech tools wisely to support my joy. This isn't about having a perfect morning routine. It's about creating a system that supports you so that joy and clarity aren't just things you hope for, but things you set yourself up for. Now it's your turn. Think about what's one small change you can make in your morning to start your day with more joy. Now that I've set the tone for my morning, the next step is making sure that energy carries through the rest of my day. Because let's be real, having a great morning is amazing. But if the rest of the day feels chaotic, overwhelming, or just like a blur of tasks, it's easy to lose that sense of joy and flow. That's why I don't just plan my day based on tasks. I plan it based on how I want to feel. And I use system settings to make sure my day actually supports that feeling rather than just filling my schedule with a lot of things to do. So let me show you exactly how I do it. And then I want you to be thinking about what you can do. So step one is I plan with the feeling and flow instead of just tasks. So most planners and to-do lists start with, what do I need to get done? Believe me, I love checking things off. I'm a to-doer. But one thing that I've started to do is, how do I want to feel? So yes, I'm doing that in the morning, but when I sit down and I'm planning the day, I tap back into that. Because if I personally am not intentional about how I want to feel, it's so easy to get to the end of the day feeling drained, rushed, or unfulfilled. Like, has that ever happened to you? So, something that I like to do is a daily check in, a few questions that I ask myself. Let's see, Jania, what brings me joy today? This keeps me connected to what matters. What's my energy level? Do I need ease today, or am I ready for deep focus? This simple check in helps me shape my day in a way that feels nourishing, not just productive. Then I look at how am I structuring my day with system settings. Once I'm clear on how I want to feel, I use a few system settings to shape my day in a way that's supportive, just like how I do my morning routine, my morning system settings. Time blocking for joy, self-care. Most of us schedule work first, then squeeze in self-care if there's time. I've I, I'm still practicing, but I've really worked on flipping that. I schedule my joy and well-being first. That means putting time in my calendar. We got to use our calendar so they pop up just like a meeting would. So I may schedule a midday joy break. I like to put a little music on, maybe take a little walk, or even if it's 3 minutes for deep breathing. A transition ritual before switching tasks so I don't carry stress from one thing to the next. That's been really helpful. Reflection time at the end of the day to celebrate the wins because I am all about celebrating instead of just rushing into the next thing. This system ensures I don't just hope for joy, it's actually built into my day. Next, I use the joy map as a planning guide. I check in with the joy map. This isn't just a to do list, it's a reflection tool that helps me stay aligned. It has the joy meter on there so I can ask myself, where's your joy today? What can I do from my list? Because in the joy map, we list out some things that we would like to accomplish. So I look, what can I do from my list to improve maybe by 1 point? So if I'm feeling about a 6, I tap into what's my intention, what is something I can do to help me live into that intention. So I'm like, let me boost it just a little bit. And then I think about, when am I going to do it? This step is a reminder that planning isn't just about efficiency, it's about creating a life that feels good while getting things done and staying committed to who? To me. Then, I've mentioned before about the tech tools that keep me aligned and present. So again, I use my iPhone and I'm learning so many cool tricks. There's a podcast recording on that. I'll tell you more about it at the end. But where it talks about little iPhone tips, ones that you're probably already using, maybe some cool ones that you're not using just yet. I'll show you how to integrate those. But I'm using my iPhone to make sure I can actually follow through with my system without having to think about it too much. Because when we have to think about it, sometimes it's easy to forget, right? So I like to set little reminders, breathe, reset, celebrate a small win. Because I will tell you, something that I identified last year was I was living in the gap versus the gain. And basically, that is, I was living by, I could do more. I need to do this. I need to do that. And I was forgetting to reflect on what are the small wins that keep me going. So when I put them in my phone, it's a reminder for me. I love to use my notes app, a quick place to track joyful moments, any reflections, also, or any to dos that I may need. I talked earlier about focus mode. I do use that a lot of times during work. So this reduces distraction. So I'm present because otherwise my mind is all over the place and that doesn't feel good. It just, for me, it doesn't. Because technology, it can either be a distraction or a support system. So I am really learning how to make sure that mine is helping me stay focused on what I want to get knocked out and then also feel joyful. So this entire system, checking in with myself, one, blocking my time for joy, as well as, other productive things, using my joy map and leveraging tech. That helps me create a day that's not just productive and impactful, but also purposeful. So I want you to think about planning. It isn't just about doing more, it's about setting yourself up to live better. Think, what's one small shift you can make in how you plan your day? Now that we've planned our day in a way that feels good, not just productive, but truly aligned with joy. Remember, this is the thing. Joy isn't just about creating a single great day. It's about creating a life where joy is woven into the way we live over and over again. That's why I don't just stop at daily planning. I have weekly, monthly, and quarterly systems that help me stay aligned, reflect, and make small shifts as I grow. Because the truth is, it's not one time. Joy is not one time. Life isn't just one time. It's this beautiful journey. It's something we build consistently. So let's talk about how I check in with my joy and keep my systems evolving over time. So I do a weekly check in. Am I staying aligned with joy? Every week, I take a few minutes to pause and reflect, not just on what I accomplished. It does feel good. Also on how I felt throughout the week. Some questions I ask myself, just like I was, on my day, also week to week. Did I experience moments of joy this week? Did I feel aligned with how I want to live? And if something felt off, what small tweak can I make this week? This simple system keeps me from just going through the motion. It helps me stay present to what's actually working for me. Then I like to do like monthly reflections. What's working? What needs to shift? At the end of each month, I take a little extra time to just like take a step back and look at the big picture. And I ask myself, are my daily systems still supporting my joy? Maybe I notice that I've been skipping my midday joy breaks because that has happened, or my schedule has started to feel overwhelming. This check in gives me the opportunity to course correct before I burn out, because that's a real thing, y'all, or lose that sense of alignment. Then I like to tie in quarterly planning. I won't deep dive into this because there is an episode on quarterly planning that I'll tell you a little bit more about. But quarterly planning system, man, this is so helpful. It helps me take like everything I've learned from my check-ins and shape the next season with intention and ease. If you want to learn more about how I approach quarterly planning in a way that's joyful and stress free, there are two videos that break that all down. There's the 12-week year, the soft way, how to quarterly plan with joy and ease. Then there's the 90-day planning with your iPhone. That's where I go more into the iPhone tips. Stay focused and joyful. So if you're ready to take your joy and big goals beyond just daily planning, be sure to check those out. At the end of the day, joy isn't just something that happens. It's something we create intentionally, consistently, and with care. So just a quick recap. I talked about weekly check-ins, staying aligned with joy, monthly reflections, adjusting what's working or not, quarterly planning as a system. Keep it all evolving with intention. I want you to reflect on how you check in with yourself to make sure you are living in alignment with what? Joy. So here's what I want you to take away from this. System settings make life easier. They take the pressure off just motivation and replace it with consistency, flow, and most importantly, joy. Whether it's your morning routine, how you check in with yourself, or the way you structure your day, creating small systems helps you stay aligned with the life you actually want to live, my friend. And the best part, you don't have to overhaul everything overnight. Just start with one small system today. This is my challenge to you. Time to take action. Which system setting do you want to create for yourself? I'd love to hear what's resonating with you. Need a little guidance? Remember the joy map. It's a great place to start. It's designed to help you plan with ease, reflect with intention, and make small, joyful shifts that actually stick. And if you want to go deeper, check out the previous episodes: the 12-week year, the soft way, how to quarterly plan with joy and ease, and 90-day planning with your iPhone. Stay focused and joyful. Keep creating joy. If this resonated with you, be sure to hit like, subscribe, share with someone who could use a little more joy in their life. And I'd love a comment. I'd love to know some system settings you use or you look forward to integrating. Joy isn't just a goal, it's a daily practice. So go out there and create yours. Remember, every day may not be filled with joy, but you can create joyful moments every day. I'll see you in the next episode, my friend.